There are so many great smelling fragrances out there for men on the market. It's insane. I have a ton of them. I've talked about a ton of them on the channel, but not every fragrance has that kind of magical, special wow factor about them. And that can be something that's a little bit hard to describe in a review. You know, it's one of those deals where you got to get your nose on it for yourself. And then once you smell it, you'll kind of understand what people are talking about. So what is that wow factor? What gives a fragrance that wow factor? Well, it's kind of hard to describe. You don't really even know for sure. It's usually going to be a combination of things that just make it stand out and make it shine above all the rest. And that's what we're going to be going over today. Really, when you stick with the big designer brands, you can just about pull off anything, and people in the real world are going to think you smell good. It's just easy as that, right? Big designer brands are in the business of making money, and so they're going to be putting out products that the most amount of people are going to like. Again, we're talking the big brands here, right? You really can't go wrong with any of them. But again, not every one of those is going to have that kind of special, unique touch about them. So I wanted to dive in a little bit further and give you guys some things that are really going to blow people away. So I will provide links to these down below to discounters as always, and I do encourage you, go check out my community tab here on YouTube. A lot of people don't even know that exists, but I'm posting deals over there every day, multiple times a day. Rare stuff, discontinued stuff, you know, Prada L'Homme Intense, Dior Homme Parfum, 1 million Privé, all of these things. Even just recently, a couple days ago, Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum Testers 100 ml came in stock for like $53, which is unheard of. I posted about it. It sold out within an hour. So make sure you're checking that page. Make sure you get subscribed so you see those posts show up. Let's dive right in. First up, we have Iris Empire by Carolina Herrera. Now, this one, of course, well, yeah, it has iris, but it also has chocolate and leather. So I discovered this one blindly, of course, like I typically do. I am very much a blind buyer, and that's just how I've built my entire collection. And once you get to a certain point and you have decided and realized the type of fragrances you're into, it gets easier. So for me, I know I love iris, I know I love leather, I know I love chocolate, right? And fragrances, all of that stuff. And so, of course, the name and the note breakdown of this one matched with what I typically like, and so I pulled the trigger on it. I got this one in, and it exceeded my expectations further than I thought it was going to. And I've had great luck with this more expensive line of Carolina Herrera. I've got 4, maybe 5 of them now. I've been slowly adding to it because each time I get one, they impress me more and more. So what this one is it's like a mix between CH Men Privé from the same brand, although discontinued, and something like Valentino Uomo Intense or Dior Homme Intense. So you get that chocolatey iris mixed with that kind of semi-boozy, leathery smell from Privé. It is a fantastic combination. It's a deadly combination. This stuff smells incredible. It's addictive, it's gourmand, it's sexy. And this stuff here is a must-have for the upcoming fall and winter months. A little bit tough to get, but you can get it at the link down below. And while it is more expensive than you would maybe expect, it's worth every penny. Great performance, great quality. This stuff is incredible. Next up, we have BVLGARI AQUA ATLANTIQUE. So this is one of those blue fragrances that kind of transcended above the rest because it's doing it a little bit differently here. It's bringing in some aquatic notes, some saltiness, and then you're getting a little bit of a sweetness from the ambergris ambroxan in here. You're getting citrus. It is a beast mode blue fragrance that unfortunately is discontinued, but you can still pick it up. I'll drop a link down below. It'll be, I want to say, in the $60 range for 100 ml testers, which is about as low as you're ever going to be able to get it again. This stuff is going up in price quickly, so if you want some backup bottles, might not be a bad idea to do so. I just picked up 4 more at the link down below, backup bottles for myself because, well, I just can't help it, and I love this stuff. And to me, this has always had that wow factor. It's always had that kind of intriguing, head-turning thing about it, at least as intriguing as a blue fragrance could get, right? There's nothing that's, you know, reinventing the wheel here with this one, but it does have that kind of magical smell about it to where it just works well in so many situations. Next up, POLO Supreme leather. So I'm not sure what's going on with this, and there's a couple other ones as well, like Supreme Cashmere, and they have Supreme Oud. They seem a little bit scarce on discounters online, but you can get this one. It's in stock, which is nice. It's got leather, tonka bean, and honey as some of the main notes, and I've always really enjoyed this one. Again, I'm a big fan of leather scents, but what's nice about this is it's not too strong of a leather. It's not animalic. You get the sweet honey and tonka bean combination, powdery, sweet, syrupy, sexy. Really works great in wintertime, fall and wintertime. You know, leather fragrances can be relatively versatile, but then when you start throwing in some sweetness, then it kind of shifts it over into the cooler seasons, and that's what this one does. Even though the note breakdown and everything isn't revolutionary, again, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here with this, but what it does do is it does have this kind of attention-grabbing aspect about it that you don't get from everything. Next up, we have a newer release. We have 1 Million ELIXIR by PACO Rabanne. Now this one has vanilla, tonka bean, apple, and there's some florals in here as well. Smells very, very pleasant. It's a sweet vanilla bomb. So if you like that note, you're in for a treat. If you don't, then, you know, just don't even give this one the time of day because you're not going to like it. So what's nice about this is it's pretty cut and dry. If you like vanilla and, you know, on a more broad spectrum, you like sweet fragrances, then you're probably really going to like this one because it is a very, very sweet, more modern style of men's fragrance. You know, this is getting more and more common, and if you've been enjoying that type of thing and you come to really like it, this is a pretty easy purchase. But if you want something more mature and more masculine, then this is not going to be for you. But what I like about this one is while it does follow a very, very similar blueprint, it still manages in some sort of PACO Rabanne magical way to kind of stand out and just give itself, you know, its own character and a little bit of its own uniqueness. While it's not my favorite, you know, up against something like 1 Million PRIVEE, which we don't even have anymore, I do really like this one, and I actually prefer this to the previous Parfum flanker. So nice stuff. Next up, we have a niche fragrance that surprisingly is actually more affordable than some of the designers in this video and just in general, or at least it's right there with them. MANCERA Intense CEDRAT BOISE. So this came out and it was super hard to get, but now you can get bottles on discounters for $100 for 120 full presentation. And these do have the updated magnetic cap and pressurized atomizer. Really nice touch here on this one. So the Intense, it's an extrait. If you thought the original was strong, or maybe you didn't, maybe you had performance issues with it, there's nothing to worry about here with this one because it is a powerhouse of a scent. Has a little bit of oud in here with this one, but not too much. Nothing to get too concerned over. What it does though is it takes that DNA and makes it a little bit heavier, sweeter, denser, and richer, and again, bumps up the performance big time. So for me, if I had to choose between the EDP or the extrait, and as my favorite, it's gonna be the new one, the Intense, any day. I love this stuff. I think this is a true flanker done right. Very impressed. Next up, Light Blue Forever. So this one is kind of a little bit of a pioneer. It's got grapefruit, ozonic notes, violet leaf in here, and it's all about the grapefruit. You guys know this one by now. And it's one of those deals where not everyone's going to like it just because that grapefruit is so strong off the top. I mean, it even took me by surprise when I first smelled it because I wasn't expecting something like this from the light blue line, because if you guys have been paying attention to the light blue flankers the past several years, they haven't really been all that good. They really peaked with Oh Intense, it felt like. And then from there, they released all these limited edition ones that were just okay. I don't know, I just feel like they got lazy there. Then they went back to the drawing board, they put this out, they put out Italian Love, and they got our attention again. And so if you really want to wear something that just has that wow factor, it's gonna make people, you know, smell that and then look at you and go like, what on earth could he possibly be wearing? And they're going to be intrigued by it. Go for something like this. A little bit out of season, I understand, but even though it is a fresher grapefruit citrus scent, This type of thing could also work great in the winter time because it's kind of refreshing and very crisp, so it's worth a shot. But this next one is definitely suited for the upcoming seasons and the season we're in right now. So it's Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé by Givenchy. This is their newest one that I really wasn't expecting. So it's one of those situations where it's like it's not the hero we deserve, but it's the hero we need, or vice versa. Whatever it is, I don't even know where I was going with that. But what I do know is this has become my favorite flanker. It didn't take long because the EDP was my favorite flanker. They've got a lot of them. EDP has always been my favorite. And then when they take that DNA and they add chestnut and whiskey and you get even more of a chocolatey smell, I was sold. So looking at the note breakdown before I smelled it, before I could even get it, I was like, yeah, this looks promising, but I won't know for sure until I get it. I got it. I smelled it, all live on camera, by the way, first impressions. And then I was like, all right, like this is it. This was towards the beginning of the year, so it really pumped me up to see what else the year was going to bring. We've had some great releases this year. This is one of the best. If you like that original DNA and you want a little bit of a booziness and a nice kind of a chestnut accord, go for this one here. It is beautiful. Let's hit up a clone. We have AFNAN HIGHNESS 3 Green for men, or maybe it's unisex, I'm not sure. And what this one is a Royal Oud clone by Creed. So Royal Oud is one of those ones that never really got picked up a ton in the community. I mean, it was heavily overshadowed by the big Creeds, you know, Aventus, Green Irish Tweed, even Silver Mountain Water, you know, Millesime Imperial, of course, all those big heavy hitters. Royal Oud just never really seemed to do that well. I've been a fan of Royal Oud for a long time. Love the cedarwood spiciness that it has, but it just never really got a ton of hype. But this here does a fantastic job of representing that DNA. It's all about the cedarwood and the pink pepper. The oud is very minimal, so nothing to worry about here with this. And I'm talking about this and Royal Oud because this is very similar to that. But what I like about this, no surprise, is that this one actually has a little bit of a green smell to it. Royal Oud really doesn't all that much, but when you smell this, you do get some green, kind of earthy, woody notes in here, more so than you get from actual Royal Oud. And I think the name is definitely very fitting, and I'm sure that was part of the reason why they chose to, you know, give this one the green bottle and call it green, because it really does have some of that going on. Not something that you're going to smell every day, people around you, that is, and it's definitely going to have that wow factor. Second to last, we have SPICEBOMB Infrared by Victor and Rolf. So this is the newest flanker. Another one that I wasn't expecting, but it came out. Got it, and I was like, I like this. You know, it's very similar to the EDT, so don't be fooled. It's not, you know, groundbreaking. Very similar scent. But what this one has that the EDP doesn't, or the EDT doesn't, the original, is the red fruits accord, which I'll hold on to that because that's very annoying to listen to. The red fruits, you get it right off the top, and it gives it, well, a fruity kind of spicy sweetness on top of the cinnamon and on top of the nice rich tobacco. So it's a nice little twist. And last up, Rojas Man. This one's got cappuccino, vanilla, and amber. A fantastic coffee scent for next to nothing, like $20 on discounters, pretty much always on clearance. They just are always trying to dump this stuff, trying to get rid of it. And I mean, it smells beautiful. Love it. Really, really nice. You know, coffee fragrances, really to get one that is true coffee and has a lot of that note going on, you're almost best going over to niche. You know, there's some great niche coffee scents. Yeah, designers, there are some, but a lot of designer coffee scents, they'll just put a little bit in there, or they'll just put the note and then you think you're smelling it, but you're not. So they can kind of clickbait a little bit. But this is one of the designer coffee scents that actually has a good dose of coffee, more specifically cappuccino here. So it's creamier and less strong, but it smells amazing. And the fact that you can get this one for $20 makes it an absolute steal for coffee lovers and anyone who likes something sweet and gourmand. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. 10 fragrances that just have that wow factor. There's something about these that turn heads and just smell great. I will link them down below. That's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.